There I was, looking down at the newly finished railroad tracks against the brown dirt. It was the first and only railroad that will run through the Royal Gorge in western Colorado. We built the 50-mile train track by ourselves, but it took us far too long to build the tracks. We ran into a major problem, but I guess I shouldn't start my story there. Let me start at the beginning of how I ended up here, how I ended up involved in a war. My name is Cooper Lawrence. I am 31 years old and I work for the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Company. It all started when valuable minerals were discovered in Leadville, Colorado, and people rushed to the town. I was hired to build the railroad from Leadville to past the Royal Gorge to move the minerals from Leadville to a different area. We were going to build the railroad through the Royal Gorge, but once we made it to the mouth of the Royal Gorge, we ran into a problem. A company called the Santa Fe Railroad Company also wanted to build a railroad in the Royal Gorge for the same reason. Both companies held their ground and the claim to the land, so our bosses went to court. Even though it was being settled in court, the other company was pushy, so my boss wanted my coworkers and I to stay in the area to make sure we still had our land. The Santa Fe Railroad Company started trouble with our company and became violent. They started throwing our tools into the river when we weren't paying close attention. Then they started rolling big rocks at my coworkers and I, which was a big danger. So we started complaining to our boss about the working conditions and how the other company was really violent. So our boss hired bodyguards to protect us from the other company, and they had guns. Every time the Santa Fe workers came close to us, they yelled at them to scram. A couple times they shot guns in their direction, purposely missing them. So soon enough, they came back with guns and bodyguards of their own. This continued to happen for over a year and a half until the court date. Rumors came up here and there about who was going to win. Sometimes it was us winning, sometimes it was the Santa Fe company winning. Finally, the judge made his decision on April 21st, 1879. My coworkers and I all came to the court decision because this would affect our jobs. The judge stood up and announced the verdict. We had won, so we continued to build the railroad down the Royal Gorge in peace. We had no more bodyguards protecting us, and we didn't fear for our lives anymore. Finally, after 2 years, we finished. We built the first and only railroad in the Royal Gorge.